Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. So today's video is going to be another will I add it to my bag. And let me tell you, the holidays are coming. I'm getting excited. We are in the month of September, and even though here in Florida we really don't get to experience fall and winter, it's just something about this time of year, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, that just gets me in the mood. In case you just want to get directly into the makeup releases, just go ahead and go to this minute right here. If you're wondering what's on my face, I did not film this. I am wearing the Kaleidos Futurism 2 Cyber Bronze. And so far so good. This is a very, very pretty palette. But I will be doing a review on this, and I might insert like 1 or 2 tutorials. I notice people aren't into tutorials as much anymore, so what I might do is just throw up some photos and give you guys my review on Kaleidos, because I love to do my makeup for Instagram. I don't like filming it. I noticed that the pressure of the camera being on, my makeup just always comes out 10 times better when I'm not filming. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the video. So I am going on Trendmood's page. All the photos that I will be putting up here are from her page. I will link her Instagram below. Well, most of the time I really only talk about palettes and then maybe some like foundations and whatnot that interest me. But lately the palettes are just, they're really catching my eye. Now I am being more selective with my picks, and some of them might surprise you. I just have way too much makeup. I counted the other day and I have 80 palettes. And not that that's anything upsetting to me, because they all still fit in my drawer and around my room. But I want to start playing with them. So that is why I'm going to be doing more perfume reviews and more like ranking videos, because I want to play with what I have. Okay, so we have a lot to go through. When I filmed my last video, by the time I put it up, a lot of stuff came out that I wanted to talk about. So some of this stuff is like a couple weeks old. One collection that came out, and again, I'm really only going to talk about the palette, was the Nervina palette. And I was looking at reviews as soon as this came out, because this gave me Natasha Denona vibes, and it was in the $129 price tag. So the Nervina palette is $60. I hope Anastasia still continues to make her palettes. What are they, like 14 pan palettes, I believe it is. I hope she still goes down that line, because I love Anastasia, like the aesthetic. I just love those palettes. And then I hope that Nervina then just kind of goes off and does these larger palettes. I love the setup of it. I love that she decided to use like C1, C2. I think that's great for people doing tutorials. The names, I mean, really, in some collections I get, but in something like this, I get her reasoning behind it. And I think this palette is stunning. I won't be picking it up because, again, I'm trying to be very selective, and I have a feeling that this is going to be a collection, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. And the reviews that I've been seeing was tempting, especially because this came out right as the summer sale was ending with Sephora. So I was very tempted to pick it up, because I would have gotten 20% off, but I went ahead and I passed. A lot of these I will be passing on, but they are very interesting. There is a bit of a theme. I do think that we are heading into a very brown yellow theme, but more so jewel tones. So there are a lot of jewel tone palettes coming out. Next up is this is like part of the holidays, and this is the Bobbi Brown Kaleidoscope palette. I don't see a price, but Bobbi Brown is expensive. It's not anything I'm going to be picking up, because if you cover up that blue, even though those two burgundy shades are gorgeous, I have those shades. I probably have that blue. Honestly, that blue looks a lot like the one in the Dose of Colors Fornication. I've never tried Bobbi Brown shadows. I have a Bobbi Brown highlighter, and I'm not that impressed with it, but it's a gorgeous, gorgeous palette. And I love like the whole kaleidoscope print on it. It's very pretty. And then when you close the palette, gorgeous. So next up is the Pat McGrath Sublime palette and Sinful palette. Okay, so the Sublime palette is one palette, and then the Submersive palette. Okay, So I'm interested in the submersive palette. Sorry, this is really confusing, but I got it now. So these palettes are $28 each, and they're baby palettes. Pat McGrath is expensive. The Sublime is more of those like browns, and then the submersive palette, that's the one that interests me. And the only reason why is because I saw Morgan Turner's video, and she mentioned that these are like part of her like bigger palette and singles. Like these are shades, these are repeat shades. So I'm hoping that the formula is the same. There are a few videos that I have in like my watch later list that I need to go back and watch before I decide. I also get stuff on sale. Like I'm not one to pick stuff up and review, because this is just a hobby. Because this is just a hobby of mine. So if this is still around when Sephora has their other VIB, then I might pick it up. But for $28, I most likely won't be getting it. But if it's still there during the next round of sales, I'm interested in that Sublime one, only because I want to try that formula. But again, I want to watch some videos to see if it's the same formula. She did say that the shades were the same, but she didn't want to open them because I guess after like researching it, and I'll link that video below. She realized that these were all part of other collections, and she has the entire Pat McGrath collection. I have all the minis, but she has like the minis and the large ones. So it is disappointing when you're a collector and you have everything, because you want everything, but these are repeat shades. But I think it's great that she did them in minis so that people could try them. So I get that. I get that. And they do look different from her other lines, like the minis and the larger ones. So I think it was to reach people who don't necessarily want to pay that price for Pat McGrath. I think that's a great way to try it. So this palette I was going to pick up, but now I'm not, because I picked up something else, and we'll get there. But this is the Nomad by Juvia's Place, and this palette, I don't know what it is. I know some people are saying that it's boring, it should have matched. I guess because of the pretty neon around the beautiful girl in the front of it, people thought it was going to have like neon shades in there. So maybe they shouldn't have done that, but I wouldn't have thought that just by the yellow and the fact that she's wearing like a scarecrow type hat. I kind of knew that this palette was going to be yellows and brown. It's also what I've been seeing a little bit more. So besides the jewel tones, I've been seeing yellows and browns out more. So I had a feeling that that palette was going to have those shades. And I just love that it's just a very fall looking palette. So it's $15. If Ulta has a sale, I would probably still pick this up eventually down the road. Just not anything I'm going to be picking up right now. I do think it's a beautiful, beautiful fall palette. And I think you can create a lot of quick looks with it. So I was interested in that palette, but I am going to hold off. Following along with Juvia's Place, they also released the Warrior 3. And out of all the Warriors, I think I like the 2 the most. Yes, I like the Warrior 2 just because it gives me Natasha Denona's Safari vibe, just more curated. But I've actually passed on all of those. There are really just a few shades in here that I like, and it's the bottom 2 metallic shades, and all the other ones I can really live without. So I thought it was gonna be a little bit more like the cover, like most of them are, but then they threw in like the dark green and the yellow. Like this palette's a little confusing to me. So I just feel like part of it is one way, and then it has 2 in another direction, and then the bottom row is another direction. I just feel like there's a lot going on in this palette, and it's only 9 pans, and yet they managed to make it very confusing. So I was not interested in that one. I love Milk Cosmetics. Like, I collect, and it's an expensive habit. I have quite a few stacks, and I have their Gemini palette and their Smoke Sessions palette, and I love the formula, I love the brand. And I think this palette is gorgeous. This is their new radioactive collection, but I have like the radioactive stack, and it's got neons, and I do have a lot of color. And you know, Melt is pricey. It's $48 for this palette. I love the colors in here. The first half of the palette I have 2 or 3 times over in my collection, as well as those deeper shades. I definitely have those in my collection. So as gorgeous as this is, and as much as I want it, I am going to pass. But I think that this palette is stunning, and the collector in me wants it, but I gotta stop. I really gotta stop. Next up is this Viseart palette, and this is a very beautiful fall palette. This is now when I start getting into fall and jewel tones. I think that's going to be a theme this year. I like Viseart. I just started dabbling in Viseart recently, and it is a very, very beautiful formula. This palette, I don't see a price, but this is a very pretty palette. It's not anything I'm gonna be picking up. And again, I do like Viseart. Another jewel tone palette is this. This is for the holidays. This is the Midnight Maven palette, and it's 8 shades for $29. It looks like this is by Artist Couture. I do think this palette is stunning, but I know I have these shades, and I just have to start using what I have. Not that I'm not gonna buy anything else, but I really need to start. Now, a palette I am going to be picking up, and I knew I was gonna be picking up, and I don't know why, I'm like one of the very few who think that, oh my God, I can't even speak. This is the Urban Decay Honey palette, and I just think this palette is gorgeous. And I know people are mad because there's not yellow. Honey isn't yellow, guys. Honey is like an amber color, and there's amber shades in here. So I don't know what everyone's problem is. Honey palette by ColourPop is more yellow. Yes, okay, it's ColourPop. But Honey is not yellow. Honey is amber. Like, it's a brownish color. So I think they nailed it. I think this is gorgeous. I just love this. This is giving me retro 70s mustardy colors, and I love it. I love neutrals, I love browns, but I have a lot of warm shades, like more on your orangey side, and this is more of like mustard. And I think this palette is gorgeous. I can't wait to add it to my collection. I am an Urban Decay Naked collector. I will say I'm not a fan of the Naked Reloaded palette. I wore my Naked original palette the other day to work, and I just was able to do my eye makeup in like 15 minutes because it was just a simple look that wasn't so highly pigmented that I messed things up. So I love Urban Decay. They're one of my favorite brands, along with Anastasia and Natasha Denona. I'm getting this palette. I will not be paying full price for it because I do not think it is worth $58, just because I don't think makeup's worth a lot of money. I will spend because I'm a collector, but when I can get a sale, I will get a sale. I almost have 1,000 points with Ulta, so once I hit that, which I'm so close, because I do want to get it when it's first released at Ulta, so I am picking that up. Next up, and it's kind of following along that, yellow with maybe a pop of green, is a Natasha Denona. It looks like she's coming out with like a gold collection, which I think is super, super pretty. I don't know if this gold glow is like her little mini one, which if it is, I had mentioned that I hope that she continues with her midi, not to be confused with her mini, and she comes out with like a more yellow fall type midi palette. So as much as I love this glow gold and I'm tempted, I want to hold out just to make sure. And I keep falling into the Natasha Denona mini hole where I want to get it, but after trying Natasha Denona's regular size palette, I realized that for the price point, the minis just aren't worth it, because if you break down, you're paying more for each little pan. So, but I do think that palette is stunning, and if it's available where I can get it discounted or on sale, because sometimes Sephora does have them, on sale when they, like, I think the Lila was on sale for like $12.50, then I would get it. but it's not anything I'm going to be paying $25 for, because to me that's just not worth it. But I do think the color story is gorgeous. These are very wearable everyday colors. And then falling into fall, that fall theme, this is the BH Cosmetics Golden Twilight, and this is more muted. This is a very fall muted color story. Very, very pretty. Not anything I'm going to be picking up, but it's only $12, and BH Cosmetics does have a nice formula. I still have my BH Cosmetics Festival palette and the Carly Bybel. I will be decluttering some just because I don't reach for them as much, because again, I am all about the aesthetic, and these are fun to play with, but I like more of the Urban Decay, the Anastasia, and the Natasha Denona's. And then for my fun, I tend to lean more on ColourPop and Juvia's Place when I want like those fun palettes. I don't know what it is. So next up is the Dominique Cosmetics Celestial Storm. It was on my list of palettes that I was possibly going to buy. It's 12 shades for $44. I love palettes where you can pretty much have shades like the 2 purple shades. You could pretty much do a quick look, the blue shades, then that hot pink with the black, but you could also mix the black with the shade, the taupey shade next to it. There's just a lot of looks that you could create with this one palette, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Another one that I wouldn't mind getting as a gift. This NARS palette, lately NARS has been, I don't know. So this is the Queen of the Night eyeshadow palette. You need this palette with something else, and for $59, nah. I need it to do everything. I need to be able to just dip into that one palette. Now I do have a palette like this where it's just like all foils or whatever this formula is, and that is this Jouer Ultra Foil palette. Oh god, this palette is so gorgeous. But I paid $15 for this palette on sale. So yeah, so I don't mind that I gotta dip into other palettes, but this one for $59 at limit, and it's a limited edition, no. Next up, I won't be getting because it's expensive, but it looks gorgeous. It's one of probably the top 3 that I've seen of Pat McGrath, of her large palettes, and this is the Midnight Sun. And I like this because of that green as well as that purple shade. I think this one and her last one, and then there was another one that was limited edition. Those were like the 3 that caught my eye immediately. So this is $125 for 10 shades. I hear that Pat McGrath, the large pans, because again, I have her minis, and I'm not sure if the formula is the same, even though I think the minis are stunning. But yeah, this palette looks gorgeous, very fall, I think. And I love that like lilac shade that's thrown in there. This is just beautiful. Not anything I'm going to be picking up. So a couple of holiday collections that caught my eye are like the Sephora, like their minis. I'm thinking I might pick up. I learned my lesson last year. I picked up a couple and it was dumb. Like they sat there for the longest time. So I love minis. The one that caught my eye is this one here. I'm not sure which one this is. It's the Sephora Favorites. The one that comes with like the full-size Fenty Beauty and Hustler Baby. But no, because I have 2 minis of Hustler Baby. So no. But the one with the mascara is something I go through. And I prefer minis. I am interested in that. And that one's $48, and it comes with lashes. And it comes with a bunch of minis. And this is the last stash. It comes with a full-size Benefits mascara. And then the It Cosmetics Superhero, which is a brand new favorite of mine, is full size. So I am going to be picking this up because already Roller Lash and It Cosmetics, those are 2 top mascaras. And then you get to try all these little baby mascaras. So I do think that that's definitely worth it. But they have a few minis. I'm not really interested in anything else but the mascara one. I did hone in on that Fenty Beauty one, but I'm going to pass up on it. But I did see that Fenty, and I don't see a price on it. But the Fenty Beauty, the gloss bombs and mini, I actually held out buying the full size of any of them in hopes that they would come out with minis. And it looks like there's going to be 2 new colors. So I am really interested in that because I do love the first one. So the formula is just really pretty. So the last 2 things I'm going to be talking about. One is an item that I got, which I'll be the last thing that I talk about. And then this one that I really, really want, but I'm not going to get because I got my feelings hurt. I bought the Natasha Denona Sunset palette. After 2 years of debating to get it and not to get it, I finally got it. I got it during last VIB. And then Sephora had it on sale for $99. And I'm like, I'm not hurt. I got it for just about. And they had the end of summer sale. And I could have saved another $25. So that pisses me off. I just don't want to get burned again. This palette is the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. And it looks like this one is going to be a smaller one in the sense that it's not her large pans. I think it's the same pan size as the Natasha Denona Sunrise. But you are getting 28 new shades, 2 new formulas. And this is dropping on my anniversary, September 10th. Maybe I can...
That is not correct.
I was gonna say maybe I can convince my husband to get it for me, but this palette is $129. So, bye. You do get a lot of product, I will say that. And if I didn't have so much makeup, I'd probably get this palette. I'd probably be someone who would be happy with my Natasha Denona palettes, this one, then some of my Anastasia, and then Urban Decay, which is pretty much what I have now. Okay, this palette's gorgeous. It's just stunning. But I don't need it. But I want it. But I don't need it. But I'm not gonna get burned again. Gorgeous palette, but I'm not gonna get it. Now this last palette was just recently dropped and I already picked it up. I was gonna wait for a sale, but not only do I love Kathleen Lights, but they were just so pretty. I do get all her palettes. So I was gonna wait because ColourPop always has sales and I knew that eventually this was gonna go on sale, but I just couldn't help myself. This is the Kathleen Lights and ColourPop collaboration, So Jaded. I've been seeing looks with this because already a few people have gotten it and they've put their reviews up, and then Kathleen's Lights video, and then the swatch party that ColourPop did. And this palette is going to be replacing my Jaclyn Hill palette, which is going to be leaving my collection soon, and I'll explain that later. I'm not canceling Jaclyn Hill. I don't trust her anymore, and I don't reach for that palette anymore because of it. And it's big, and even though this one's big, it's still not as big, and this is going to replace it. Now I will say, I don't know if it is magnetic, but if it is, I will be taking out that opal shade and I will be taking out that topaz shade, and I'm going to be replacing it with a couple shades from Kathleen Lights Dream Street, just because I do not like those glitter shades. They come off, they get on other shades, because I have the Honey palette that has that Palooza shade, and let me show you. So I recently learned that the ColourPop palettes are magnetic. I thought those were glued down, and I am getting rid of my Yes Please, and my declutter video is coming up. I'm not decluttering a lot, but I don't reach for my Yes Please, and my Yes Please is one of my top like 5, if not 3 ColourPop palettes. Definitely top 5. Sunset. I love Sunset eyeshadow, but I have my Natasha Denona Sunset and Sunrise, so I don't reach for my Yes Please. And when I don't reach for you, you gotta go. So for that reason, I'm declaring my Yes Please, and I've been saying that this palette needed a brown because I like depth. I don't know if this is the right brown. I might I might change it out. But for now, this is French Kiss, I believe it is, from the Yes Please palette. It's this very warm brown. And I took the Palooza out and I put this shade. I switched them out. I know it looks weird. It looked prettier before, but I want to be able to use it. And I was dipping into I probably want more of a cool brownie, mustardy brown, dark, but I'm gonna try it anyways. But I popped out Palooza because I can't stand it, and I put in this French Kiss from the Yes Please palette, and I will definitely now use this more. So I am gonna try out that brown because I just feel like maybe it's just a little too warm. No, I think it would go really nice with those honey shades. Let's see it next to, yeah, actually no, that's really pretty, those two shades together. Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited that I did that. And just so you could see, here's what Yes Please looks like now. So that had that brown shade that I believe it's either Mischief or French Kiss, but I think it's weird how they do it. And I put Palooza in there. It still looks pretty in there. I don't know if the Kathleen Lights is magnetic, but if it is, those glitter shades gotta go. First of all, topaz, when I think of topaz, it's true, when you Google it, you get all kinds of colors for topaz, but for some reason I've always thought of blue. So I am going to be popping out two of my favorite shades from the Dream Street palette, but I don't know yet. This one's definitely gonna go, this Kaleidoscope, that's gonna go where Opal was, because I do think that this closely resembles like Opal. I just think that color's gorgeous. And then I think I'm going to take this color in Mirror Boy and put it in the topaz, because there is a beautiful topaz shade. I forget what it's called. It's a specific topaz, and I'll put a picture of it. It's called the London Blue Topaz gemstone. Oh god. And here it is. I just think Mirror Boy looks closer to that, especially when you build it up. And honestly, those are the two colors that I use the most in this palette. Like, I love this palette, but I have a lot of these shades over and over again. So honestly, the three shades that I use the most are Potion, Kaleidoscope, is it Potion? No, Water Bearer. Yes. So Water Bearer, Mermaid Boy, and Kaleidoscope. Those three shades, if I could find a home for those three shades, I'll be okay with letting go of the Dream Street palette. Again, I'm trying to be more selective about what's in my collection, and I do love that palette, but I only honestly wear this palette a look that I do with these three shades. Like, I've done this look 2 or 3 times, and I've used some of these other neutral shades, but honestly, that is like, those are the 3 shades that I use. So those two shades are going, if I can, into that palette. So this palette is $39, which she explains is like $1 a shade, which isn't bad, and you get 30 shades. And everything about this, I'm like, why am I even thinking about it? Like, had you set your alarm, you might have gotten a signed Kathleen Lights palette, and now you're not going to get it because you waited till that night to get the palette. So I did end up getting it. I can't wait. When I film, I will pull out my crystals. I will pull out my rocks, because I used to collect rocks when I was younger. And yeah, so those are the 2 palettes, the So Jaded and also the Urban Decay Honey palette that I'm definitely getting. So that will do it for today's video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like me and haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed and click that notification bell so you know when I upload. And until next time, guys, bye.